Okay, welcome to an absolutely lovely day on Chichester Harbour. Got about 15 knots of sea breeze, maybe a little bit more, and the tide is rinsing out. You can tell that because we're doing 12 knots of wind, which is completely unbelievable, and it is unbelievable because there's probably about 3 knots of tide to take us out the harbour against the breeze. So bear off, for those who don't know, this is Chichester Harbour entrance, just inside the bar. And yeah, hoisting the kite, gonna treat you to a little bit of a training view like I did in the past. Not done one of these for a little while, but gonna watch this full downwind leg all the way from the mouth of the harbour, right the way down to the kink in the harbour as you go towards Itchness. So pretty much as long a downwind as you can do in Chichester Harbour. Have a little look at our manoeuvres and yeah, just enjoy this absolute sleigh ride of a run downwind. So we just about make our blue kite behind Guy's head. That's Chris Firebush getting out for the first time since lockdown. He was loving it. And what else we've got for you? Yeah, a few stats. Got boat speed, bottom left, and heart rate 127, so reasonably chilled. But yeah, just sending it. This is the main channel past Hiss Clubhouse at the moment, and swinging it down pretty low. Notice the boat speed is not that high for downwind, and again that's because we are plugging against a monstrous ebb tide. So yeah, 15, 14, 13 knots. Add a couple of knots onto that for tide for our boat speed through the water. But just going past Hiss Clubhouse now, so a little bit lighter. Still fully swung down. Nice day, it's like 20 degrees, so well, probably more than that. Guy's got his arms out and aviators on for the gun show. First jibe, pretty good foot movement there from both helm and crew. Kite pops. Now it's a really short starboard jibe before we get towards the Winner Bank, which can't quite make out, but it was just about starting to see the bank beneath the water, so you can't straight line it down to Itchness in here. So put a bit of a jibe in. Take a little bit of a step on the gunnel there as I go in, which is if you've watched my other video on like new jibing technique / footwork, and definitely don't want to be stepping on that gunnel. I want to be taking a larger stride to the middle of the boat, so I kind of mess that up a little bit. But what I thought would be good about watching this as a full downwind leg is you get to see a little bit more about the consistency, rather than me just pick out absolutely peachy manoeuvres. You get to see the rough and the smooth in kind of 15 to 20 knots of breeze. Okay, going for a jibe again. Back foot goes to the boat, so much better, perfect footwork actually on that jibe. Kite pops. And we're already way down past Hisk, so I think that boy there is either Southwest Pilsey or Freddie Brooks, probably Freddie Brooks. So put the jibe in, aiming for the next pinch point in the harbour, which is between Stocker Bank and the Winner. Realise we're not going to make it above Stocker Bank, so go for the drop just to two sail back into the channel. It was a super busy day on the harbour, like so many motorboats out as well, like yachts, and they're obviously restricted to the channel. When you're flying around with your kite up, you've got pretty limited manoeuvrability, so it can be pretty scary. So we just dropped a kite for this little bit, scooted up until we were sure we could pop the kite and make the main channel. Bit of two sail reaching. Come up on my wire quite a lot. I don't know. I just feel a little bit unsecure on the two sail reach. You're never sure if you've got quite the power to hit when you head up. But yeah. Safety first. Don't want to get dunked too much. But yeah, pass the main back to the crew for these two sail reaches. Like, this is one of the big advantages of the crew sheeting. If you have any courses with significant amount of two sail reaching in, then the having the crew on that main sheet to really play the play the main as you get big shifts in apparent breeze. But yeah, I reckon we can make it past the stock of bank there. So go for the set, pop the kite. Oh, and yeah, guys hooked in, coming back straight into the foot loop. I've already dropped myself on my trapeze, pretty much at the knots, and bait speed 15 knots. This is GPS speed again, probably through the water. Got another 2.5 knots on that. Anyway, go for a jibe before we run up the back of that yacht. Super sketchy jibe. You can see I'm just shoulder barging the beam across. Go for a sit down on the way out. So I think that is one good thing to mention. Obviously, I focus a lot on like really good, or what I think is really good technique. But here's a couple of sketchy jibes, and it's good as a helm, especially just to, you know, as soon as you're through the jibe, if you need a moment on the new jibe, just take it. That means sit down, just get the steering nice and smooth. You know, once the boom's over, the main risk is that you just mess up the steering, and you know, as you're trying to move out onto the new side, onto the rack too quickly. So if you just take a moment, that's always best. So yeah, this is where it gets really narrow and a bit sketchy with boats coming up the harbour. The channel's probably, I don't know, 150 metres, 200 metres across at this point. I mean, it's nicely lined up with the breeze, but when you're crisscrossing across and you've got all the power boats coming out from Chichester Marina, yeah, it can get a bit sketchy. So, and the yellow mark you see down there is, I think that's Eleanor. I think. I always get mixed up between Eleanor and East Head. Not a bad jibe. Get through. I mean, it was kind of... Oh, I think where's going on. Oh yeah, I remember. I'm stepping on the water's pushed guy's trapeze elastic out over the rack, and my front foot is on his trapeze elastic, so he can't move back in the boat, and he can't figure out what's happened. And then we realised, so I come off the rack and swing about a little bit, and then flick his elastic back on the rack, get it out of the way, and then come back out on the wire again. So that post there is camber met. So those familiar with Chichester Harbour know, you know, from the entrance down to camber met, we're making pretty good tie, especially when we're against a full ebb current. Jibe, good footwork. Oh, trip a little bit, but yeah, maybe a bit too much windward heel, but a bit flatter water just towards the edges of the channel as well. So it's nice to get out to the edges before putting in a jibe, but also quite risky because obviously at the edges there is the bottom. Full send, just coming up alongside some of these power boats making their way back into the harbour, but there's yeah, quite a lot of wake around them, and we're heading in towards the shallows now on the Wittering shore. Go for a jibe, but really quite a big wave there, and the bow just goes in. Kite's full of water, but don't know how we didn't capsize there, but managed to head up and carry on going. Full swing down now, like boat speeds absolutely ripping, 16 knots. Just skipping over these this short, sharp chop. Proper bouncing around, 17 knots. That's probably more like 19 or 20. Boat speed through the water, 18 knots. So yeah, probably full send here. Couple more jibes. Again, the first step was good then, but I end up stuttering a little bit into the boat and end up kind of stood in the middle. It's better than falling on your arse, I guess, but yeah, not perfect footwork by any stretch, but it was quite challenging conditions. Like, it looks flat on the old GoPro, but I can tell you it's certainly bouncing around down this chop. Go for a jibe, take an extra step on the gunnel there again, but sometimes I don't know, is it bad to take an extra step if you're off balance? You know, do you have to have the same footwork every jibe? Let me know what you think. Is that a sign of poor technique, or is it okay to readjust your balance? Get pretty close to that motorboat who craps himself and turns away, but that's fine. 17 knots, yeah, probably pushing 19 up to 20 in real boat speed through the water. Do you reckon we're trapezing there on our port jibe? Looks like we're lower on this jibe, I think. We're pretty much at the knot both jibes, but maybe our lines are a little bit longer on the port side of the boat that makes us a bit lower on this port jibe. Have a look when we jibe across. Tell me what you think in the comments, whether we're trapezing lower on our port jibe than we are on the starboard jibe. Yeah, as soon as you're out on the rack, you want to get those feet really pushed into the foot strap, stop you swinging forward when you slam into this shot. There you go. Tell me what you think. Do you reckon to me, I look a little bit higher on this, on the wires on this jibe? I mean, I've come up on the wire now. We're coming into the leeward mark now, all the way down towards Itchener. So just raising ourselves on the wires before the last jibe, so that when we're going upwind, when we first tack upwind, we've not got really low trapeze wires. So yeah, that's the last jibe coming into. Got what the markers we're using down here. Maybe park, something like that, or I think it's one before park. Don't know. And that's it. Proper fresh down the harbour, all the way from the harbour entrance down towards Itchener. Full send. Hope you found that interesting. See a bit of the consistency, a few of the wobbles, and a lovely day in the harbour. And I'll keep an eye out. Trying to get a bit of footage in the can for the Skiff Basics series, which we're doing along with sponsors Lennon. So subscribe to the channel for that. There's going to be a lot of stuff kind of aimed at people who are doing a decent amount of sailing but looking to get into skiffs, understand the differences and the techniques a little bit more. So some pointers for you all in that series. So hopefully start of August the next video will be coming out, and that's going to be on launch and recovery. Fingers crossed if we get enough footage in the bag for it. So hope you're all sailing now and enjoying being back out in the water. Take care, and I'll see you soon.